ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Kelsey Johnson. Welcome to Sports Tuesday. After a royal welcome on Monday night, members of the Bahamas water polo teams showed off their hardware won at the Carifta Water Polo Championships in the House of Assembly on Tuesday. Bringing brief remarks during that time was the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Michael Pintard, and the Leader of the Opposition, Philip Brave Davis. All congratulated the teams on a job well done.
This week I want to congratulate the young athletes for doing so well. They've made the Bahamas proud. I want to congratulate the coaches and other team members who have assisted, and especially the parents. For the parents, you play a very important role. These young athletes demonstrate the quality of individuals we have in the Bahamas. And you start off with gold, you must continue your life with gold.
Last year, of course, while the competition Carifta being held in the Bahamas, we won a gold and a silver. Of course, this year, the determination is that we will carry out the sweep. These teams have their sights set on bigger prizes down the road. And so in the gallery, Mr. Speaker, persons who are going off to school to excel in a variety of disciplines. A number of them also are amazing swimmers, so they can compete in any of the various swimming disciplines as well as in water polo.
Swimming is the genesis to be able to participate in the sport. But swimming is it brings individual satisfaction. But what greater satisfaction you have when you could have a team, right, with more than one, coming together, working together to achieve that good color. You know, gold is a good color. So congratulations and thank you for coming today.
The Bahamas won the Under-14 mixed title, the Under-19 gold, and successfully defended their title in the Under-16 division at the Water Polo Championships, which wrapped up on Sunday in Jamaica. All three championship wins came over host country Jamaica. The Bahamas Aquatic Federation is preparing their 36-member team for the upcoming Carifta Swimming Championships. That too will be held in Jamaica during the Easter holiday weekend. The Bahamas is the defending champions of the game, having won 3 of the last 4 titles.
It certainly is a momentum for the swimming team. We'll be traveling next week to Kingston. But we want to celebrate the water polo team, primarily because when water polo first started in 2004 here in Nassau, we were getting slaughtered by Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. I can remember our first game very vividly. We lost by about 2-40 when we started in 2004. But over the period of time, the water polo team under the leadership of Illing and Lottie, they've done an excellent job in not only helping the team to develop to be Carifta champions in all of the divisions of water polo, but more so in that they're helping young men and women to remain positive and make significant contributions to development of the Bahamas.
We're counting the days to the start of the Carifta Track and Field Championships. The 47th edition of the meet will be held in the Bahamas during the Easter holiday weekend. More tthan 30 Bahamian athletes surpassed the qualifying standards set by the B3As.
When we went through the list of the results from the Carifta trials, we had athletes who were very close to the qualifying standard. So we felt that they would be very competitive. In fact, when we looked at what was done over the region, we felt like a lot of our athletes would be very competitive. And so that was why they were added onto the team. But I can tell you from what we saw at the trials was over 2 days. There was so much excitement, and when you saw the way those kids competed, they competed with their guts. They competed because they knew that they had the country on their shoulders, and so they gave it their all. So I'm telling you, you don't want to miss Carifta 2018 because our athletes are going to be right there in the mix. If we're not getting first, second, and third, we're not looking at 4th place. Our athletes are really hungry this year, not just because we're here, but you see a different mindset with the athletes this year than the previous year. From my personal point of view, I was really pleased at what I saw at the Carifta trials.
President of the Bahamas Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation, Joel Stubbs, were among those in the sporting fraternity extending condolences to the family of Paul Melbourne, a former national team member. Stubbs recalled the time shared with Melbourne, who has represented the Bahamas at a high level.
As I can recall, Paul was a person that, in all of his time in the sport of bodybuilding and fitness, even powerlifting, I remember when Paul started off in the late 80s, he came in the sport as a power lifter. And so many a time I would attend many of the powerlifting events, you know, to see Paul really go all out and give it all he got in the different lifts was really, really amazing. You know, Paul, of course, was being known as one of the pound-for-pound men of the sport of powerlifting back in the day. Captured many titles in his division, and overall was placed probably as being one of the best pound-for-pound guys in the sport of powerlifting.
Melbourne was also a member of the Bahamas Powerlifting Federation.
It was a shock to the Powerlifting Federation, which Paul Melbourne was a part of. I became to know Paul around in 1993, some 25 years ago. Paul Melbourne actually introduced me into powerlifting. And since then, I became 6-time strongest man in the Bahamas and went to the World Championship and rank among the world. But, you know, later on, Paul Melbourne, knowing his history, when I met him, he was the first Bahamian male to win a CAC gold medal at the CAC Championship in Nassau. And, you know, Paul, he was always a great inspiration around the team. Paul, later on in his life, gave his life over to the Lord, and he's been doing remarkable with the bodybuilding team. And he helped himself around the bodybuilders. And Paul was visiting me over the last several months to put together this magazine. And he says to me, Bob, you know, I need you to put together some kind of, you know, platform so we could get this magazine going. Not knowing today, Paul will be missing from us.
Second-seeded Texas Lady Longhorns are into the Sweet 16. The team defeated Arizona State on Monday night, 85-65, to advance out of the Kansas City region. Starting guard Bahamian LaShawn Higgs scored a team's high 19 points and 3 assists in the 29 minutes she played. She was 9 for 12 from the field, and the Lady Longhorns will now play the third-seed UCLA on Friday. A 4-point win kept Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in the winning column at the NCAA Men's National Basketball Championships. Dwight Colby and crew pulled off the biggest upset on the night with a 79-75 win over USC. Colby scored 13 points and pulled down 7 boards. The Hilltoppers will play on Wednesday. The playoff series in the New Providence Basketball Association continued on Monday night. In Division 2, the Carroll Contractors Resistance took Game 1 in the best-of-5 semifinal series with the Alive Buckets 100-98. The semifinal round is all set in Division 1. The PJ Stingers sealing the deal with a 101-78 win over the Carroll Contractors. The Stingers will now play the Commonwealth Bank Giants. The New Providence Women's Basketball Association will be back on court tonight with 2 games. Over there at the Donald Davis Gym, Cheaters will take on Foxy Angels, and your feature game will see the Connectors play the Bomber G Operators. That's your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come.